republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Go ahead and call roll, then we'll take a motion to go into executive session. So, Robert May's here. Is Michael Fritz here?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Greg Zaw is here. Allison Leibach's here. Derek Rose is here. Dave Eggert is not here. Steve Geibel's here. Corey Zana is here. Our engineer is not here. Amanda Musso, the Borough Secretary, is here. The Reverend Benethome is here. And Warren Lubenow is here. And our Solicitor Joan London is here. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
I move we go into executive session. Second.
Motion been moved and second to go into executive session to discuss some employee and legal items. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. all?
Hold on, start that over, start that over.
Okay, we're coming out of executive session. We had our pledge of allegiance, we had roll call, council minutes. Is there a motion to approve the April Borough Council minute meetings as presented to you?
So moved. Second.
Motion been moved and seconded to approve the council minutes from April. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Approval of payment of bills before you see payable report out of general fund, $128,656.70. Sewer fund, $19,999.32. Liquid fuels fund, $3,800.69. Fire tax fund, $34,570.15. EMS tax fund, $25,497.01. Is there a motion to pay consolidated bills as reported?
Make a motion to approve the bills as reported. Second.
Motion been moved and seconded to pay the bills as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Approval of treasurer's report. Before you see our fund balances as a general fund of $303,646.49. Liquid fuels fund is $157,063.45. Fire tax fund, $15,305.30. EMS tax fund, $11,422.56. You'll see the sewer fund at $208,678.91, and we have a reserve account of $206,894.28. Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report and to file for audit?
So moved. Second.
Motion been moved and seconded to approve and file for audit the consolidated treasurer's report. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Public comment? None come in over there. Borough engineer's report was Pamela gonna be here at all? Or is she waiting on her?
No.
So did she submit her report to us?
Her written report is
So, planning commission's meeting on May 28th for the floodplain ordinance. Talked about the grant level 2. Were they, did they come and do the audit yet?
yes,
Are we getting a report back from that?
June, she hopes by the June meeting.
When did they come? April?
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, first week of May, something like that? Hopefully better be better, have a report by June.
Is the floodplain ordinance, the updated revised one, is that available for
No,
members yet?
next week I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Says here they need electric bills and
And
quotes.
all the other members.
Yeah, everyone.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It says need electric bills and quotes for mechanical contractors for audit.
I will go on the electric bills.
Can you get them pretty quickly so it doesn't delay our June report? UGI will be contacted to start the process to provide natural gas to the property. Do you know anything more about that, Derek?
I think that's a separate part of this.
Yeah.
Oh, is there a separate update on that?
Yeah.
Then they have the Keystone, okay, Borough continues update concerning the pole building garage. SEO items and permits, update illicit discharge research, blah, 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 blah. Letter of warning to the person before that was discharging, and the grant application by the end of June for multimodal transport. And this is for the parking, this is for the sidewalks and everything, multimodal, right?
Yes.
All right. Solicitor's report, anything to report, solicitor?
Okay, Berks Nature Board is meeting next Wednesday. They'll sign the amendment at that time, and after that, we'll be able to record it. And I see that the TPG Nuvei Merchant Agreement is on the agenda under new business. I had given a summary of that to you earlier this week. Do you have any questions about the things that I had in there, in that email?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I mean, they were just things I wanted to bring to your attention.
We'll talk about it in new business.
Yep.
Okay, so that's it.
That's all I have.
Mayor, anything to report?
I do. So,
I guessed it.
you know it. So in April, we had no police commission meeting for May. At the end of April, I attended a municipal officials briefing presented by Senator Judy Schwenk. It was an all-day workshop, and it helped us to better understand the resources available
from the state level and how our community can benefit by knowing the programs, the grants, and the knowledge that's available to us as a borough. So I did pick up a booklet, plenty of cards, but I took lots of notes, and the notes are basically surrounded around different types of grants that we can get. If we need any type of grants, particularly if there's, say, a project coming up that we were talking about that would require construction, economic development, recreational, historical, things like that, you can get up to $1 million. And then there's even, if you want to plan your project, there's a grant for planning and implementation. So there's a whole list of all different kind of grants that we would be available for. So I just wanted you to know that I went to that seminar in hopes that maybe someday in the future we'll have a project here in St. Lawrence.
Okay,
That's it.
department staff reports, anything from finance? Anything from borough, zoning, local code enforcement?
A lot of zoning permits coming through for various activities.
Public safety, nothing from David. Public works, anything?
I have a report attached. Two big items in this. The first one, the small water and small sewer grant was submitted into the state for the grant process. The grant has been flagged. It was reviewed initially. We had to submit an engineer's seal for the cost estimate. But that grant has been moved into the second round of review.
Did Pamela submit the seal thing yet?
We sent that to SSM because they're our sewer.
Oh, yes, can you check with Kevin Conrad, and see when that's gonna come back out?
What?
Then when they will, are they gonna?
No, we did.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so that was done by then, that was reviewed, so we're in the.
and this was to do the final third of the piping we've never, ever touched in relining and stuff like that. So this is one we would probably be doing 8 years in the future. So this will be grant to do that work, and the related mammals.
We're responsible for 15%,
Okay,
but yeah, so it's a $290,000 project, we would get $250,000-ish.
and we probably have 15% in there right now in the sewer fund. So, we could cover
Yeah,
that.
47,000 would be our
Yeah.
side of the pie.
All right,
The other big item is PA, we had a meeting with PA American for their sewer line work down along Parkview Road. They will not be closing the 200 block section, but they still intend on closing the 400 block section at the Parkview Road Bridge. I have received finally a preliminary detour plan from them. I sent them some comments back so they could change it. They didn't have enough signage. But they're intending on starting that work at the bridge sometime in June. After school's over, I made sure that they were gonna start the work because it's gonna be daily road closures from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the bridge.
For how long?
2 to 3 weeks. And that's all based off of how weather's doing. So right now they're gonna start, this whole slew of projects starts up on Butter Lane. It's a part of like 4 or 5 different segment replacements. So they're starting in Butter Lane, then they're moving down to Parkview Road.
so they're basically gonna open trench, put new pipe down in the open trench the
Yes.
whole way,
Yes.
across the road, across the approach to the bridge. And that's why the bridge is gonna be
Not
closed.
the entire, but the manhole is on the center right of the road, so technically almost 2/3 of the length would be.
Are they gonna put a new manhole in too then for the new
Yeah.
pipe?
Yep,
Is it gonna be in the center of the road again, or can they put it off to the side of the road?
I think they're gonna remain in the center.
Would it be better to be on the side of the road for us?
More excavation.
I'm gonna say, the other thing I think they run into is embankment there,
It's-
so they have the guardrail.
I'm just trying to get it out of the middle of the road, because it'll never be repaired.
I'm surprised they're doing it now, because that whole section was replaced less than 15 years ago.
Well,
Hey, they just gotta make a rate increase.
and what's gonna happen when the bridge replacement comes along?
Yeah.
They'll have to relocate that.
Probably, but then the bridge will be, and
So that's the two big items off of my public works.
road closure.
Can you explain a little bit about UGI? Do they have a schedule?
So that's a segment in here for, I think it's a new business.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We'll wait. Committee reports, anything new, Mike, for the library?
Just
just, I think we'll be filling our final vacancy on the board next month, and, the kids and grandkids, the pop-up sales this Saturday, DVDs, puzzles, all kinds of good stuff, and they've got plenty to sell, so.
This Saturday, you mean the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend?
What's that?
This Saturday, you mean the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend,
Yes,
so not in
that's
2
Saturday,
days.
yes.
Saturday, next 2 Saturdays now.
That's right there with, I'll see you Thursday night.
Yeah. Municipal, joint comp plan, Warren, anything?
Yeah, one is, you know, like I presented last week or last month about the map. I don't know if Derek had a chance to revise okay, because they're looking for a revision of what we view the land use will be in the future. What they had put together was,
AI generated.
AI generated, I believe, is what they were told. And,
Do we really have any responsibilities to correct their work when they used AI to begin
Well,
with?
they want to know what it is, how do we view land use in the future? And the only real change is St. Lawrence Avenue, we were gonna make that more of a joint residential. Commercial zone. A section.
Well, we have Borough Center is already
Yeah, so, I mean, it's just,
established in the area.
so it's just getting their future use to
Right.
agree with our map.
So we can give them one of our existing maps, zoning, and mark up the potential new stuff, and that's all we need to
So
do.
they'll put it in.
Right.
As their future. The other thing is when they put this, joint plan together, they wanna have some photographs in it. So they were asking each municipality to provide some photographs which represents your community,
You wanna go out and take a photo of the building?
it's,
There's
Yeah.
one online.
so, you know, it's a matter of picking some photographs.
Do we have any drone photographs we can send them?
I don't know.
Like overall, you know, do we have a drone photograph
Like the borough?
of the borough?
No.
So they would like some photographs.
Oh, they want
to
street level.
incorporate
Street
street
level.
level things to incorporate in there.
So like the
In the
playground,
joint.
the borough hall.
Yeah, some representative pictures of.
The bridge.
The bridge.
Bridge, the mill,
The
you know.
shopping center,
Well, it'd be nice if the shopping center was finished,
it's not.
They're working on it. They're getting close.
yeah.
All right,
You know, so those are the two things right now they're looking for from us.
and then municipal lands, we got the update from Joan for Berks Nature.
The only other thing on that is, I mentioned before, that there were some tree stands and stuff that were up on our property. I talked to the owner, and they are gone now.
Oh,
I saw within a week or so after I talked to him, the two that he had been removed.
how'd you know those were his? Does he have his name on them?
No, I talked to the neighbor.
Oh,
Lori,
who saw him put them up?
And he thought he was putting them up on her property.
Gotcha.
And they weren't on her, and I had to convince him of that.
Yeah.
So I met him
Yeah.
one Saturday, we took a walk, we walked the perimeter of her property, and he said, okay, I'll move, give me 2 weeks. And a couple weeks later, I went back and they were gone.
They're not up on her property yet.
It's not my problem. I'm not gonna police.
Understood.
We have a borough engineer showing up.
She wasn't
In
scheduled.
closing, the borough engineer's report is,
We'll circle back.
Motion to adjourn?
Recreation, Dave's not here,
There is an announcement. Playground starts June 9th.
June 9th.
Yep, leaders are hired,
Well, they're the same ones from last year.
Yep,
Hired.
they're hired though.
All right. Planning Commission Warren, you're gonna be there for the zoning,
I will be there.
and so, planning will hold a meeting on Wednesday 28th to discuss the floodplain ordinance. Zoning hearing board, we have no meeting scheduled. So, I'll go to general comments, give Pam a chance to sit down. Public meetings, we have all public meetings in Borough Hall, 135 North Prospect Street, May 20th, 2025. Elections will be held in Borough Hall. Change of office hours, Borough closes 2:30 Monday through Thursday and 12 on Fridays. Borough will close for Election Day, then it's going to be closed for Memorial Day, and you're telling me you have only 10 holidays? I think
Actually, it doesn't even.
So, discuss summer meeting
There's
schedule?
13 in the book.
Oh, huh?
There are 13.
There's 13 in the book.
Right.
That's what I thought. Are we counting election day as a holiday or just a non-work
I
day?
have it there as a holiday, but.
I'm just asking.
So technically there's 12.
Okay.
Technically, there's 11. There's two elections.
There's 2 election days.
Discuss summer meeting schedule, any known vacations for anybody?
So no.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I won't be here for the August meeting.
What?
I won't be here for the August meeting.
Where are you going?
Ocean State, Maryland.
Are you on like light duty or something?
We'll be then.
Was Dave supposed to be here tonight?
He's always.
Modded.
Yeah.
We moved it here. so I
That's
thought-
what Dave said he couldn't work, he couldn't be here last week.
That's right.
We
Yeah.
moved it
Yeah.
to facilitate.
I think he gets mandatory overtime though, so.
Yeah.
So guess what? We're never modding for Dave again. And July 10th, Derek and Amanda will be absent. What holiday is that?
July 4th.
It's not, that's the meeting night, that's one of
That's
the meetings.
vacation.
Vacation.
Both on vacation the same week. Susan will be covering for you that week.
July 4th falls on Friday.
12 whole days out of the year. You guys both go on vacation during a meeting?
I didn't
I didn't
choose
think
it.
July 4th would be that Friday.
You can talk to my mom. It was a family vacation.
All right. We had our executive session. Pam, are you ready to be up, or I can still vamp here a little bit more? Okay. Well, I want to vote to amend the agenda to direct our solicitor to take action down at the Wolf Bleach and Die, former Wolf Bleach and Die, and I want to discuss food preparation from the women's club prior to the election. Is there a second to that motion?
Are you making the
Wait,
same
hold on, we
motion
need
for
a
two
motion
items?
to amend the agenda first.
Yeah, for 2 items, I can do that.
Wait,
I gotta amend the agenda, I gotta amend it for more than 1 item.
we gotta make a motion to amend the agenda.
Right, that's what my motion is.
You can make a motion to amend two items.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can make motions, whatever you want, yes.
Second,
Wait, who was the
Start
first?
over.
I made the motion to amend the agenda for 2 items, to direct the solicitor for action on Wolf Bleach and Die, and to discuss food making by the women's club in the Borough Hall on prior to election day.
Those are the two items.
Is that got seconded? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. I'd like to hear if there's a motion to direct the solicitor to initiate action immediately in, which court is it?
In the Court of Common Pleas.
Court of Common Pleas for the continuing deterioration of the property at the former Wolf Bleach and Die,
500
500 Parkview Road, because of increased vandalism, complaints by parents with children that wander in there and do shenanigans and everything else. Hooligans are meeting down there regularly. There's litter and other things being dumped.
got it, you got it, you got it.
That doesn't need to be part of the motion. The
Right.
motion is direct
I'm just
the
explaining
solicitor
why.
to file a petition,
All right.
in Court of Common Pleas against the owner of 500 Parkview. That's
Thus,
the motion.
thus clarified.
I'll make the motion to, what he said.
What he said.
No, to direct the solicitor.
Direct the solicitor
to make.
file an action
File
against
action
the
against
owner
owner
of
of
500 Parkview, in the Court of Common Pleas of Berks County.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Motion been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed,
Ban.
motion passes.
That sounds like a wedding rehearsal.
Second action item.
I do.
It wasn't until the night that I finally realized that the women's club, as part of their hoagie sale on election day, were planning to use the adjacent meeting room as their commissary to make such things, and then leave all the stuff here in our refrigerators until such time they sell them on Memorial Day. I'm already having heartburn that it's so close to a polling place, because I don't think that's really the best use of a building. And I'm having a lot of heartburn knowing that that room's suddenly gonna smell like onions and everything else gonna get ground on the floor. And I don't know what logic there is to letting them make those sandwiches here. So they could easily wanna go back to the Borough Hall, the old Borough Hall. We can give them a key, and there's still refrigerators there, and they can make all the food there, and they can come over on election day if that's where they're being sold. Before, we've always had issues not to have them sell in the Borough Hall, at the old Borough Hall. Suddenly, they're like ants that come in, you know, that now that they have a nice building, they're inside the building selling things, which I still think is bad policy.
Well, there's
So I'd like to bring it up for council. If I'm, oddball, or, this place smells like onions, the next 6 months, I will mention it every meeting.
Well,
I have no
I'm not
problem
willing
with
to back on
mentioning
that.
it.
I think it's a great staple for the borough as an option for those who come and vote. It's a nice little fundraiser for them. It's unlikely that this place is gonna smell like.
Bullshit! It's definitely gonna
Well, it
smell.
won't smell like that.
You
But
can't
it's-
make that many hoagies with all the ingredients spread everywhere, and some of it not to get in the rug and get everywhere else, and I don't understand why that now becomes their mission to use this facility for that.
It's not a kitchen.
We're in liability for them selling the food in here anyway. They don't have food handler card, it's not a 501c3, and everything else is, I'll eat a hoagie and I'll purposely get sick, and then I'll sue the borough. We're stretching.
That's why.
Yeah, we're stretching way too thin on some of this
I don't
stuff.
think there's liability if somebody gets sick.
If food that was prepared in our building and being sold with our concurrence, there's definitely liability. You're being way too kind.
That's your legal opinion. Your
I
vast,
will eat
your
it, and I will
vast
follow
legal
suit.
training.
It's a
that
second-
you
You're
have.
okay with them making all the hoagies here? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes,
Why?
because.
Because why?
They have-
We've got a lot bigger
we have
fish to
allowed
fry.
them to make it in our Borough Hall for as long as I've been involved.
And that's up at that used to
They
be
made them at
upstairs.
Schwartzwald. We always made them at Schwartzwald.
The last few years.
Yeah.
They never made it in the
In
Borough
their
Hall.
kitchen, no.
So they've gone to a kitchen to make.
They-
No, so you had no problem with them selling it here?
What's that?
You have no problem?
does.
with them
I have heartburn already, but I gave up on that.
But you would allow them to sell it.
I think it's inappropriate for someone to come in here and vote, then have to walk by there. That's like me walking by someplace and all the Boy Scouts want money to sell
Is
popcorn.
that their intent to make them here?
Yes.
I mean, they could easily make it at one of the churches.
At the church, or he graciously offered the old
Yeah.
building, which would be just fine,
No,
because
those
they
are
don't have
nice.
carpet. I've already seen.
Just stand in the back, Reverend. I didn't expect an A2
Red
today.
juice gets spilled on this floor here.
Well, that's a whole separate issue.
The vinegar, the oil's gonna be everywhere.
Okay.
Cheeseburger,
Well, you-
chips.
Yeah, this is a carpeted, that's carpeted over there, I understand that one.
I would respectfully request that, because of those issues, that if they can, as in prior years,
Make them as
in
some
the
other
kitchen at
facilities.
Schwartzwald,
Yeah, they've made it both at Schwartzwald and
That
the
works out
community.
real good at Schwartzwald, but.
So essentially, I think what we're asking for clarification is, the heartburn's still there, but no one has a heartburn like me to sell them there. But to make the food is another issue.
I thought in the old Borough Hall, they sold things outside.
That's
if
correct.
it's a nice day, they did, yes.
They did what it was outside.
They served upstairs, everything.
That's
That's
starting-
during
that's starting
COVID,
COVID.
the
That's starting
stuff
COVID.
now
That was
outside.
how it
Well, now
started.
That was for
it-
COVID.
But it was difficult with them up on the second floor.
Right.
And the stairwell with people using it to go up to vote, that there was some conflict with people passing and trying to go up and down. And it became somewhat of an issue, especially during the presidential election, which we had them go outside
But we're not
Because-
there anymore.
because of the volume of people.
We're
But
not
just
there.
listen to that explanation. Because we had voters there, they were getting, inconvenienced because of the sale of the hoagies when they were inside.
But that was because they were going up and down
That was the
stairs.
Okay.
only Borough Hall.
Okay,
We're not there.
so if any other organization wants to come in here and sell things, especially walking through a gauntlet line, once you walk out of here, that's okay. This is what I'm trying to suggest.
Well, we have the right of refusal, but.
Well, no one asked us if they could fix their food here, they just decided that they could.
But.
So this is getting out of control.
Yeah, this-
Are we actually sitting here debating, supporting our local women's club? Yes, if they can make them in Schwartzwald to eliminate any spills on the carpet, okay. But I've ordered my sandwiches
Yeah.
and my soup, I think, and I think it's a great staple.
Mhm.
And some people probably look forward to it.
I will tell you, I would love to get a poll of how many other polling places in Berks County has an organization selling something in the adjacent room on your exit out of the polling place, out of the building, and I bet it's zero. This is.
Where would the booths be?
What's that?
The booths are gonna be in here.
Next door, the table there is where they want the people to walk by when they have all the food spread on the table.
No, you're gonna
We're
vote,
gonna
you're gonna
vote
vote in here. You're
Right.
gonna come in this door, there's gonna be an arrow, you're gonna vote in here, there's gonna be a sign by the fridge, go through that corridor,
If you want.
go, no,
No.
you're gonna have to go through to keep everyone
Oh, to leave.
fluid motion.
Ah.
To leave, so you're gonna come through here, go through that door, go into the other room, and out this door and
We
out.
are funneling.
Okay.
We're funneling it right
So
by the
just-
food
Funnel
place.
out.
Just
So
like that
everyone's
stairwell.
fluid
Where those
motion.
tables are set up to make it is not where they're gonna be
They're gonna
pushed
be
back
back.
much further.
I doubt that.
Furniture back there.
So if you have a line of people going in that loop, much like the stairwell, they're gonna be passing each other in that
No,
way,
no,
right?
No, they're coming in the left-hand
Directly
door,
into here.
Right?
circling out that way, past the gauntlet of
They're
food.
but they're both gonna be going in
Yeah, you're
and
still
out.
in and out one door.
Yeah, that door.
So
Regardless,
if
you're going-
somebody's coming out of that room and somebody's coming in from outside, they're gonna pass each other, right?
Let's,
Just like a stairwell.
let's put
Either
it,
way.
let's put it this way, that room had not had the walls down when the election people were here. It could be that during the next election cycle, that they end up setting the election stuff up over there, the women's club up over here, and then you have the use of the front door and leaving that way for the women's club, in addition to having that door. So there would be separation, it's just that that room was not ready for election time. So, it does
Well,
not.
thank God that we worked it out for the women's club.
Well, while we're overthinking this, so.
We're not overthinking it, I'm asking you to think clearly
I'll
about
stand by
this.
my opinion to this point. So we can't have them come in that door, vote here, and go out that door. That side is optional. If you order, or if you choose, if they have any, residuals, and I don't know if it's just pre-order only, is this, I don't see the big deal here, I really don't. Supporting that women's club, I think, is a good thing. And I don't think they've ever created any ruckus or a hassle.
They created ruckus the last time we asked them to be outside and they never stood within where we told them to stay. So that's not a true statement.
Anybody else remember that? Okay.
It's when they were on the side of the building, they were supposed to be X feet away, we agreed. And then they encroached closer to the building because they said they weren't getting enough sales. So no matter what we tell them, it doesn't seem like they
Yeah,
listen.
at
or
one year they were in the grass.
Right.
Mhm.
Is that what they were supposed to be?
No.
Yeah.
Where they
They're not-
started in
they're
one
not-
place.
Technically, they're not supposed to be within 10
70
feet.
Well, the
feet is
10
a
feet is
polling
about
place.
electioneering,
That's
that's
election.
Well,
nothing to do with
They,
it.
well, the county people said they wanted people 10 feet away, but here,
Okay,
you
then we
can't-
enforce that.
Here, we can't, they have no place to set up outside because there is no place to set up outside.
With parking. I don't ever mind the sales, it's just the making of it, I just don't think it should be made, the sandwiches should be made.
I
Yeah.
can't disagree with that, given some of the things.
Yeah,
that
they have
mentioned.
other options.
Carpeted, we
They
don't
have
have
other
any,
options.
vinyl floor or anything, if something spills, it's easy to clean up, it goes into the rug, certainly.
So is the soup gonna get ladled out if you bring your own
No,
container?
No, they'll.
I'm just asking questions. I vote absentee because I'm always out of the county.
No, it's all packaged, everything's nice and neat, and people pre-sale, plus they have residual, you know.
It's already pre-packaged, the sandwich is already made, soup's already in the container.
Yep.
Minimal spills. Minimal chance of
Oh, for
spills.
that, yes,
For soup.
after it's all done, yes. Mhm.
But I'm sure they use the kitchen up at Schwartzwald, right? So, I'm sure there's no carpet in the kitchen, if they have.
No, there's not,
Easy.
no, and the tables are
Yeah.
big metal tables and. can wash
Food grade
everything
equipment.
down. Yeah, it is, it's a kitchen. But they could eat, if they, for some reason, if they can't use Schwartzwald, I don't know, like you said, they could use the old building and then just bring everything down here. which is no different. They make them at Schwartzwald and bring everything to the old.
Previously.
Mhm. And we're allowing them to use our refrigerators and things like that. So I just don't think it's appropriate to, I don't wanna say junk it up, but use it as a kitchen.
Is that a fair assessment, council, then?
I have no problem with asking them to,
But we're not really asking them, we're basically telling them, don't make the food preparation
do not
here.
want it made here.
We ask that you continue to use Schwartzwald or UCC, whatever, it doesn't matter, to make the sandwiches, and then, of course.
And why don't you see how the flow goes, let them set up, and if they need, you guys need to make a change, during the voting.
I'm off that. But there's enough people in Pineville who wants them to sell the sandwiches. I just don't want to smell onions in the carpet.
Who's gonna tell them, who's gonna?
This is the behind the.
I'll move on, so will the Berks manager tell this to the president of the women's club?
Well, the president is Susan, so.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yes.
Engineer, what do you want to report?
Are you ready for me? Okay.
Ben ready.
Um,
Wait, I'm sorry, hold on.
Was there a motion?
No,
No.
it was consensus of council that the borough manager would direct the women's club, don't be making food over there.
All right.
In those terms.
Please prepackage.
Not ask them.
Please prepackage
No,
your.
do not
election
ask.
day
They're not being
foods
asked not to do it, they're being
off-site.
told not to do it.
And that's going to be Monday, so we'll have to approach them soon as
Tomorrow.
possible. Yeah.
Well, you seem to have a lot of communication anyway, since they've already pre-planned it, what they were doing, so I don't see it.
I'll
as a big
call
issue.
Susan tomorrow morning.
Let's hear from the engineer.
I'll call
Susan.
tomorrow morning.
Let's not go back down.
All right,
Okay.
You want an Italian ham? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm allergic to tomatoes, so I don't know.
Okay, no tomatoes.
see, she'd have an anaphylactic shock here next month, and it'd be on us.
I ate a pizza too. Floodplain, I heard you announced,
Yeah,
so, Warren, we're gonna have that
Yes,
commission meeting.
yeah.
And Amanda, you're gonna disseminate the, okay, so everybody will have copies. I'm not in office tomorrow, next week, so don't look for me. I will be in the Atlantic Ocean or Bermuda. So, yes,
Stay on the boat, don't win the ocean.
in the Atlantic Ocean on a ship.
Okay.
Yes, sailing from.
You'll be on a boat in the Atlantic Ocean.
You got it, yeah. I will. So, if you see an email that basically flips back and out of office, that's why. It's not that I don't love you guys, okay?
Hope you got the drink plan.
What's that?
Hope you got the drink.
Oh,
plan.
absolutely,
Yes.
this is the first thing.
That's great.
Yeah, this is my 6th cruise, so we know.
Yeah, there you go.
As Allison and the staff know, we had our team come here to start the audit, and so they're working on the report. We expect to have the draft report available for the June meeting, so for that.
do you think there's any chance it will not be available? Okay.
She's already on it, yeah, she's already working on it. We just need
I'll get the electric bills over tomorrow.
yes, I did say that, they knew you were working on it.
Well, I have them, I just have to remember to send them.
Okay, I didn't have any update on the municipal garage, Derek, I don't know if you had anything.
The biggest size we can fit back there is 30 by 40. I have received a quote from Shirk for a 30 by 40 garage, which I don't know if I printed.
And this would be located on the asphalt in the back or in the grass in the back?
In the asphalt in the back, where the back door is located.
So this would be no conflict with any overhead or right-of-ways or anything else?
Not right away, there is overhead wire back there. I measured off that wire, we have 15 and a half foot to that wire. The peak of this building, 12-foot size, would be 17, that'd be at the very peak of it. Now, I have to ask him to try to see if he can do that offshoot roof again, where that would lower the one side down, that'd be closer to 12 foot. Because that's basically where that wire is on the one side of where that building would be. That would include one garage door, that would be a 14 by 10. And I think price with everything off of Shirk, that included concrete, everything, installation was like 62,000.
66.
66. Oh, that is.
Yeah, it is.
No, thank you.
But that's no MEP, that's just the foundation, the
there's no heating or anything in that yet, no. But the shell just by itself is 22.6.
So at some point in time, we can digest that and let us know.
Well, we gotta digest a couple things. A, if we spend X amount of money on wolf bleach and dye. B, do we have money for the shed? C, do we have money to replace heating units in order, the UGI, we don't spend $60,000 for UGI. So, you know, and not having any sale of the old Borough Hall, we're probably looking at more of a cash flow issue than, you know, we have more wants than our wallet would get very thin.
Yes, and
Yeah,
depending
without
on-
following the building, absolutely.
So the issue is, you know, is there any heartburn to say that our equipment shed, you know, could wait another year? Or wait till other things come about, or do you wanna move forward now and, you know, not be conservative?
Well, this is still step one, we're back at step one, because we still have to go through that general procurement program to even find out. They would give us a hardball price, because this is still technically non-procurement, because this is non-bid, non-GSA.
Yeah, it's not the KPN cost.
So we're no risk to ask for?
Yeah, we can go through that whole process and get to the end and still say no.
Yeah.
Now that you have a 30x40, you have a quote, you have just the basic information, the one door, the slanted roof, all those other things, they'll dial it in. But at this point in time, you're not providing any heat.
Well, the real question is, if you wanna build something here, that's probably the only location without relocating electric in right of ways. We're just sort of half dead.
And this property.
Yeah, at this property. So if you make that decision, so it makes sense to have it here, really doesn't have to be heated and all that stuff, because as soon as you open one door, you're within 10 feet of the heated office and everything else. You don't need anything else in that shed.
The only thing is if they need to do any minimal maintenance on the vehicles.
Right.
It should be,
To say we're winter storage for like if we have salt truck or.
Yeah, I'll take that back. So it has to be heated with something at some point.
yes,
Minimal heat. doesn't
Yes.
mean-
Minimal heat.
yeah, and those were gonna be gas units, as we assumed we were gonna get gas.
So we can still go down this road of getting the procurement number to find out what the hardball number is and then come back to that.
Council wanna do that and then see where we're at as we keep moving forward?
Yeah.
Let's have a hard number. There's no downside not to.
I mean, I will say Shirk, it says they're 90 to 100 days out for building. So
Yeah.
even if we said yes in September, it would be good before winter time.
Yeah.
So I suggest we just go ahead and ask them for that hardcore price.
And that's for KPN, you would.
Yeah, I would go to, I think his name's Tom.
Tom Gage or something.
Yeah.
Was there a
Have they been here?
from UGA?
Has Shirk been here?
Shirk has not been. I can bring it up for field visit.
It's 30 feet this way, right?
Yeah.
You're probably gonna get a couple extra bucks on the low end there. With the, earth takers off blacktop over there.
Yeah, it's 30 foot wide.
Yeah.
The existing blacktop should be pretty close to 30 foot wide, because there's 3 parking spaces.
How much of a gap are we keeping
I
between the
think it
buildings?
was about.
I think we were leaving
10, 10,
off the building.
was it?
Are
I
you
don't
talking
remember on
about,
the sketch, I thought it was around 10 or less,
are you talking about space off the building or space?
Space between
between this building and the proposed
the
garage.
whole building.
I think we were leaving just a 5 foot,
Spitting distance.
It's a walk, it's basically a walk.
yeah, just so a 36-inch door opens freely.
What's the status with UGI?
That's a new business, you wanna go to that now?
Only because I know it sort of ties in with, if we go forward on that, we still have to have X amount of money to change over within a year, or UGI wants $65,000 bucks.
No, that, no.
What?
So UGI is 63, that's if you don't put it in, the line in, within a year.
We don't use their line within a year. We don't connect within a year.
Correct.
Right.
That is the 63.
Right.
We would owe that.
We would owe that if you don't, but,
Inside that year, they pay for it.
correct.
So in the real world, we have to spend at least $63,000 getting new units in this
No,
building.
The real world.
How much do we have to use?
153,249 was Landis quote. That doesn't include a generator or anything to convert the building.
Yeah, but that was never a unit, so I'm asking,
Correct.
what is our minimum we have to give UGI to be in compliance with the agreement?
The exact wordage of his statement is, as long as you have heat to your building.
We have to heat.
So we could
Higher
do,
building.
so we could do the 2 units on the first floor and skip the second floor?
You don't have to do all the units, is my understanding.
That's what the draft report
But does
says.
that meet UGI's
I
criteria?
don't know, that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying his statement did not say you have to heat your whole building.
Correct.
You
That's
just say
my
you have to
point.
have heat to your
That's my
building.
point. Your main use of the
Yeah.
building is what your focus is, to switch those units out for gas, to get the gas.
Because chances are the second floor would never need to be heated onto the electric strips anyway. Is that a true statement or not, or could we monitor that somehow?
I mean, in the wintertime up there, it really only runs from 7 to 3. And generally I'll walk in and the heat is set down to like 58 and it's still 63 up there, just because the heat downstairs is.
So I'm saying we would actually have to retrofit that unit, is what I'm trying to get at. We could set the units up that are here on the first floor.
You could pick your biggest unit and just replace that one, that would technically qualify for UGI, you have heat
Yeah,
your building.
that's what I'm saying, budget
Yeah,
accordingly, and then you're gonna always say, okay, see how this happens, now we're gonna replace another unit, and another, and get grants for
Will they
this,
still
this,
pay
other.
the whole line? If you just do one unit, will they still pay that whole
That's what,
$63,000?
That's
that's.
what it
He never
implies.
said you have to
Yeah.
heat your entire building, you just said you have to heat to your building.
is there any time frame when they would start? Or we signed the agreement to go forth?
So if you sign the contract, he said about 4 months is what the going rate for getting crews out here to dig the line.
That gives you 16 months then to get your act together as far as the heat
Before
goes.
heating season.
Now, I will say one question I have, Ms. Pamela. The energy audit will identify which of our units, as far as heating and air conditioning, are the least efficient. They'll be broken down like that, or are they just doing as a whole building?
No, I believe they're gonna break them down as well as also just discussing, we did downstairs primary occupancy, upstairs minimal occupancy.
So like if they say the main office unit is the least efficient unit, that would be the
That's your
most
focus.
ideal one to replace.
That's correct. That's my understanding, how they're gonna, configure the report, because that's what you really need, is you need all the different steps, because you can't do everything at once. And that was what we were discussing in-house, yes.
So the Landis quote is a building conversion.
Entire.
Entirely, yeah.
And I will say that their cost was substantially higher than Comfort Pro. So, and that's CoStar's, I mean, Landis is CoStar, so they're guaranteed, you can go with them, there's no procurement issues.
I thought Comfort Pro was in the process of it being.
And say they haven't done CoStar's yet.
Oh,
So, we still need, council to agree to go ahead and sign signatures, to sign the agreement with UGI to start the process going.
That is the motion that's here.
Is there such a motion?
and we're gonna do
Well,
the
hold
generator,
on.
right? We're doing the generator.
Yeah, we always talk about the generator, but I don't know if you can substitute generator for heating building in this agreement.
Right.
So that's sort of like a separate issue, because it doesn't get run as much or anything like that.
Or
See,
do you wanna wait for the audit report at your June meeting to then put all your numbers together?
No, because we're gonna definitely go get natural gas anyway.
Would it be advantageous to have Landis give us a quote to
Do one,
just
that's
convert
what
the downstairs to heat?
that's what I was gonna ask, should I call them and have them only use one unit or just the downstairs, or call another company and only use one, or just the downstairs?
How many units right now for the downstairs?
There's two or three.
3 units.
Three now?
There's that conference room, this conference room, and the main offices.
Yeah, yeah, three.
But I think that the back, you don't use that as the often, it's where your primary use is, right?
What if we did the 2 primaries that get used the most?
So you could
What we
keep-
probably need to do is go back to Landis, ask them to give us bundled, 1 each, 2 each,
Yeah.
3,
And then the upstairs.
and then all 4.
I will say the upstairs, I think, contributed a lot to that quote, because the very first thing they said when they went up and looked upstairs was they had access issues. They had to take rafters out to pull the unit in.
Whoa, better leave it there. That one's gonna stay there for
Throw that one away.
Wear an extra coat.
Yeah, I'd like to see those bundle numbers.
I say, I think we could also find other, there's not anything that says we have to use Landis. I mean, there's another CoStar's contractor.
Shocker.
So do you wanna kick off UGI, at least get them on, get a schedule?
And say right now, if you're going to exercise the motion to sign the contract with UGI, that means you are locking the borough into getting the gas main extension. And that means you will have 12 months from the completion of that main to hook a natural gas fired unit into this building.
I think worst case scenario, we could probably do that without any cash flow issues for at least changing out one unit.
We have 110 in the capital
Reserve. Yeah, but I'm still holding back 70 for a shed, so. So is there such a motion?
Now, we only have to pay if we don't.
If we don't hook up within 12 months,
Yeah,
at the
but
beginning.
if you don't
So basically,
Right, and I'm looking at the letter right now, it
15.
says that you're responsible for 63,000 if you don't convert
fail
for
to
12
convert.
months, yeah.
So within, and you said it's 3 months out till they even start.
Or,
Quoted for, I mean.
They
if
could be
get done
sooner, they could be done sooner. We don't really know.
But once they're done, you have 12 months. That's
Is
the
there
time.
any way to assure us that only converting 1 or 2 of the units will satisfy UGI
We can ask.
with the
them.
way?
Exactly.
I don't wanna ask a question that I don't wanna answer.
The answer, but
Yeah.
I'm asking,
Yeah, but if we don't,
What
if
if
they
they
happen,
come-
if they say,
what if
no,
they come and
then you're
inspect?
screwed, and then you have to pay
Well, they were
$160,000.
on the second floor.
We know it's up there, we just can't find it.
I don't think they're gonna come after us if we change out at least one unit, and chances are we would change out.
There's
more than one.
$63,749 on the hook.
They're expecting,
Nah.
they're expecting a certain,
amount of
Right.
gas usage.
That's right.
and what is it?
And what, yeah, exactly, what is that?
Well, they're not gonna tell you that, cause then we would do exactly what we're planning on
I
doing.
agree with you, it's.
Now, I will say, if you're replacing your most used units anyway, the ones that aren't gonna get used aren't gonna be
Big
used
chance.
regardless. So like, even if they're expecting a number, they're not gonna be expecting a large number from the units that aren't gonna be turned on anyway.
Right. And you said the upper shelf added a substantial amount, was a substantial amount of that
Of cost,
153.
yeah, but like that one doesn't,
I'd
it
pull
might
that
be
out.
turned, in the winter time, that might get turned on 7 hours. And even then, it might only run for 3 of that because
Yeah.
the heat from downstairs naturally goes up there.
I think we should shop at least once or twice more. And ask Linus to sharpen his pencil and say, we just wanna do, unit A, maybe unit B with it.
And so UG also doesn't know how many units we have.
They just take the square footage of the building and come up with some formula.
And I say
But if we spend $62,000 on putting a unit in, they're not gonna come after us for their, that's the way I look at it. So I'm sure we can spend 63,000, that's why I'm saying we're only gonna be on the hook for 63, and that money we'll be putting into changing out heating. So, and it probably behooves us to change heating units
And I
as
will
much as
say,
possible.
I'll give you another example of maybe not the best wordage he used, but when we were gonna just put in the building back there, that was one of the options we had used for putting natural gas main extension in. That was gonna use hardly any, and that's only gonna be on for 55 degrees,
Right.
2 months a year.
Would they have accepted that?
They would have, that would have been
Okay.
technically
All right,
primary
okay.
heat for that building for natural gas.
I'm not worried.
That makes me feel no better.
Maybe just go to Landis first, and give us a new number here. It might be something that, we couldn't say no to. Yeah. Yeah.
But do we wanna kick the can with UGI, get them going? That's it. The longer we wait, and if we have a bad winter, natural gas is gonna go up.
Oh,
You know,
have the capital money to.
We have enough capital to at least change out one unit, perhaps even 2, especially if we delay the maintenance ship. I motion that we go ahead and sign the contract with UGI to bring natural gas service to the bill. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Motion by moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Sorry, we're right in the middle of your report.
No, it's all tied into the.
Yeah,
I told you it was a new
garage,
business.
everything.
More than once.
It's all pertinent, so.
Another stamp. Wow.
The next item would be that I saw in the report, TPD did send you the proposal for the industry. So I didn't know if that is on the borough to.
It's all accepted.
Is that also new business?
Yeah,
Like
that is,
7,000.
I did, I put it in there, under new business
And
as well.
that's reasonable.
Numbers.
Because, yeah.
What's the period of, what's that
this again, so right now, it's on a timer because the controller's bad and you can't get a new controller anymore.
It's on back order to you.
Back order to be replaced. And there's no other option for us to turn it on yellow flashing? Can we just go in there and somehow sort something else out and then change it to, yellow flashing? I swear, every time I come through there, I stop, and there's nobody there coming out on L. I swear.
If we go to executive session, we can say that again. But now technically, anytime that light is in disrepair like that, it's supposed to be replaced within within time frame, that's what our permit is for. Right now, we're working on like an emergency permit because that part.
But when it can't be functioning per design, it has to go into the timer mode.
That's the most accepted, like right now, the only way for that light to operate is
Yeah,
to
but,
be a time phase.
so what would it take us to go to flashing?
So we would still probably pay $7,000 for a study.
Oh, we still have to have a study to change it from,
You're changing the way that category moves.
That's why it's.
can our future permits say, we can go to flashing if something goes wrong on the guts, the brains of these things again? Are we,
And this is eliminating, this is making.
I know, but I'm talking about in the future, when we
Yeah.
start doing others, can we now put in there that we go to flashing if we have a mechanical failure with our controllers?
That's
Oh,
signal by signal.
Yeah, that depends on, you wouldn't do that at,
Say, I don't think
top of
that's
St.
right.
Lawrence Avenue and Perkins Avenue or.
Yeah, that's signal
So-
by signal.
Yeah,
This
so-
is to eliminate.
Or a broker.
So we
This
have
is
to have,
totally different. This
Yeah, I
is
understand.
eliminating.
in order to eliminate that traffic light,
You
we
have to
have
have
to.
a study, and you have to give, and in
Now-
other words, the side street has to be so low, it justifies that, all, 562 traffic is,
Or can we just?
it's not really.
I know because I have to go past there. I've seen in the last number of weeks, a lot of people, when it's green on the avenue, they're pulling out, they're not sitting there waiting.
So I just wanna touch base on this
But
only
it's,
because.
it's
Like,
for
right on
residents
Now,
to stop.
it changes all the time now, it works great. Did you say the seconds were? 20, 40?
Yeah, 25.
Honestly, I don't.
That differs from what you said last time.
No, that's because he changed it to, it runs on a timer now, I don't care anymore.
What's up to you guys?
Yeah, but-
I got the
But the
proposal on
same
gas.
token, St. Lawrence Avenue gets stopped, and no cars come out of Elm Street.
That's what I had.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Because it
happens a lot in Berks
slows the traffic down on St. Lawrence Avenue.
Okay,
I don't want to- I
would
don't
you
wanna take
also
it out.
be fine with a stop sign where there's no traffic on St. Lawrence Avenue, and you don't have to wait that minute to make your left-hand turn? Where you admit you have violated some traffic rules, you make that turn.
But if he doesn't violate it anymore.
I don't do it
because it's now
anymore.
put on-
Well, the problem was before is that the controller wasn't functioning and the light wouldn't shift at all.
Right, right.
Now it runs every 20 and 40 seconds or whatever you said it was. It's so long red here and so long red here.
Right.
So for me, that's safe. So I can sit there, I know it's gonna switch in 20 seconds. I'll get a green light, make my turn. Sometimes it's gonna stop. If we ditch it all St. Lawrence Avenue, it's just gonna be nothing from signal.
St. Lawrence Avenue is longer than 20 seconds.
Yeah, I've never seen.
No, I have not quote, he said there's a schedule, I don't remember.
I
what he
think it's
said.
like 45 seconds on St. Lawrence Avenue green, and then it's like 15 or 20 seconds on, it's a minute.
On Elm
so-
Street,
Yeah.
right. So you may wait 45 seconds.
So how much is the
So
park?
I may wait 45 seconds, but I know it's gonna switch, and it's used to switch.
But a lot more cars wait
That's their call, that's their
for
call, right?
We're gonna pay.
that 20 or 30 seconds,
I don't
or
know.
whatever it is.
It's 20 to 30 seconds.
Right.
We used to work at 7:30 instead of
I've
7:35.
never seen cars backed up in St.
Pam, does SDE do any of this? Do you guys do any traffic studies? None of us whatsoever. We designated TPD years ago for our traffic consultant. I'm not happy with this schedule. I think this is way too long. For the amount of work, I cannot believe.
Isn't that a requirement though, that schedule? Yeah.
Majority of the time.
It's like, I don't write the manual.
For no one, no matter what.
What if Derek accidentally backed over?
What do you mean?
Knocked it over?
It's not just wasting your
Time frame of.
It's wasting-
No, the schedule for TPD to do the work is out.
Yes, because they have to complete certain tasks, they have to do the counts over a certain period.
I understand that part. I just think it looks like there's a lot on 4 and 5. The analysis and the report seem to take, 5 months.
I know you
3
guys
months.
have worked with TPD, I've worked with TPD.
Well, our TPD person left and went down to North Carolina, and then TPD closed that office down there. She's working for somebody else now.
But my point to you is
Yeah.
that they are.
I know they're good. I just think they're slow.
Yeah, 2 Who wants to form and start?
Is there a motion to,
Oh, hold on.
oh,
Before you get there, I just wanna give you a heads up, because I talked to Chris Lincoln from TPD on a private, I saw him at Hershey for a PSATs. Based off of what we had spoken to out there, if you authorize this study, based off of what we discussed with Elm Street, how little traffic flow there is on that, how little accidents happen there in regard to the light, you authorize a study, it's probably gonna find that that traffic light can be taken out. So if you authorize a study, I would probably have intention to take that traffic light out. Otherwise, you're spending $7,500 just to say you did it.
And that's why we thought.
And the cost of that part, do we have to buy that part?
To replace that light back to its permanent features, yes.
But we're not obligated at this point to buy that part.
yes, we are under a permit, we're supposed to make the light
I would say
work.
right now, no, because it's backordered, but we need to replace that light when that part becomes available, which right now it's being restored, repaired, I don't know how they're functioning now.
But
But
we
when
don't
that
know what
comes
the cost of that
available,
part is.
we have to put it back in.
Couple that with the $7,500, if you do the study and you buy the part, now you got a part that you're not gonna use.
You'll sell it on eBay,
Yeah.
someone else is gonna need it.
Oh, so that's my whole stick on this, is if you spend the $7,500, I would be intent on taking that light out.
Yes.
That is going to be your intent.
Yes.
I
But
will,
again, I'm your mixed.
I will say that the bus stop people that my sister talks to do not wanna see the light go away, because the bus stops right at that light.
Yeah.
And then the school bus, because
Yeah.
Borough doesn't run on St.
Right.
School bus.
And
What's
and
the-
what difference does it make? It also stops at Sidle.
Oh, it stops at,
I'm
it
saying-
stops
So-
everywhere on St.
so
Lawrence
it's a
Avenue,
difference.
but-
It's not something- I see most of the,
What's the difference?
just speeders coming into the borough and going out of it.
It stops at a
Taking
weekend like
that
road.
light out.
Which has a
Increase
lot
that
more
because that light's not there to govern anything anymore.
I understand, I'm just saying that that was the commentary from the people who were at the bus stop.
What's our cost to upgrade to get the old technology into the newest technology at that?
Probably tens of thousands.
I'm for the 7,500 to get out of there.
That's a green light go grant.
We didn't get a cost.
Agree.
What they were proposing to do with this would be the green light go, and that was in part of my report, would be the Elm Street, removal would be part of the green light go, because then it qualified to be removed and met the warrants.
Can you make that green light go that we want to upgrade that, but because we can't get the part, we're taking it out? Once we get the take out permit, they'll never put it back in. But the survey's gonna show us that we don't need it.
Yes.
Yeah.
At this
So isn't
time-
that the right thing to do?
And we know that how.
Because the survey's gonna show.
I'll say, so you can read the publication from PennDOT, it's based off of traffic studies involving accidents, how much side street flow you have up to the St. Lawrence Avenue. That street on Elm Street sees about the same amount of traffic as Side L, Walnut. I mean, they're all stop sign intersections. It was installed there.
The school was
It
way
went
down
to
the
school.
school.
Well, not just the school, we were also in negotiations with Exeter and Berks County to do the connector.
That's right, that's right.
And that's why we had the money in a pool and why we went ahead with that.
That's right, it was the comp plan interconnection.
And there is no more community park.
Right. There's no longer a community park
Well,
there for the traffic from there, there's no longer.
Technically, there is, because on any given Saturday, there's
There's
soccer
tennis.
games down there, the tennis courts get used.
Yeah.
I was down there last Saturday,
But it's-
there was a lot of
But
traffic.
Exeter gave up that maintenance on that park, and it's now really the school district's property, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, they even just.
So it's their problem, all the issues down there.
And I say that's the other thing too, is that's another thing with the study, is they're gonna do this several times over to do the traffic counts. I mean, if they come on a high traffic count on those days, it's gonna average back out to the ones where there's 5 cars every hour.
If that.
I'd like to see that report, because I just think it's busy with that.
Well, that's what the report will show us.
I mean, how many people back there would go out Hunter's Run if they're going to Shelburne? You don't know, I mean,
Well, do you wanna table it and think about it?
No, I wanna get rid of it.
I'm hearing mixed feelings, I just don't wanna move
If-
something forward if there's mixed feelings.
The light was put in there when there was enough demand. The demand's not the same as when it was designed to put in.
Anticipated.
Anticipated demand. Now we can't get parts for the controller that's in there. The only way to really get out of the parts problem is to go get a new, green light, go green?
and upgrade the entire entire system.
and upgrade the whole system, but don't you have to prove that the light's still required?
No.
Is that grant? We're just replacing because it's already
You
there.
already have the permit.
But at some higher level, if there's no need for a light there, shouldn't we take it out?
What does it cost us a year, roughly, any idea?
Every time the flasher guys come and change it over, that's what causes the issue to begin with now.
Would you request a stop sign to be put there?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ah,
On Elm Street.
It's a waste of money to upgrade it and green light go if it's not needed to begin with, so we might as well pay the money to
We'll
get
just
rid
go
of it.
back to the way it was before the light.
Well, the
was-
study
Yeah.
will say whether or not it needs the warrant to be removed. Bottom line,
It's been
Derek and I
both ways
can't
since
guarantee it, we can only
Right.
say what TPD's gut feeling is from their experience with typical side streets like this, that it probably will satisfy the warrant for it to be removed.
And I say,
Well, no.
you still don't have to do that, but you're gonna spend $7,500 to say you,
Good, if you want to.
yeah. Well, which we're doing that right now. But that was not $7,500.
It's a liability because it's in our permit, we have to maintain it, we're trying to get a part that's now obsolete. The only way to get out of this circle is to upgrade it. We know the cost to upgrade it is more than $7,500, it's cheaper to get rid of it because it's not needed. That's how my logic
What
goes.
is the cost to get rid of it?
Honestly, that's something, I don't know how much it would cost to actually decommission that light.
Correct, and that's what TPD said, is you would then go to Greenlight Go, you qualify to remove it, now you're gonna request that it be removed through Greenlight Go grant.
Regardless, you're going to the green light go grant, whether you wanna upgrade it or get rid of it.
Right.
You're going that grant regardless.
Yeah.
You just need the study to know which way you're going. So if it doesn't meet the order to remove, you're gonna then upgrade it.
But you really
It
don't have
doesn't
to
meet the
study
warrant.
this.
Yeah, you've
You
got to
already
be
know.
studied them.
Are you required to remove it even though you have a study that says you can remove it?
I don't know that, that would be,
That's my next question.
that would be a TPD legal
I'd say
question.
that would be a Chris Lincoln question.
Yeah.
I can ask him that.
Yeah. He's, they're great to deal. The other thing is, we did talk about McDonald's. And
The
the-
poles.
and the
Oh, yeah,
poles there.
we need a superstructure up there.
Yeah, and that they would, once authorized, and that's later this year, it starts in the fall for Green Lake Go year 11. And then in February, you do your final application, so they.
But when we have TPD do that stuff for us, that's part of the grant money, correct?
Yes, but there's a match. So
Right.
Green Light Go is a 20% match. So they'll end up doing the Green Light Go with Derek's and my assistants. Application, they'll do the cost estimate, and then typically the design is the 20% match. So that's what, so depending on the cost, whatever the cost is, it's 20% match.
Can you wait till the green light go to get the cost of the traffic study to remove the light?
And reimbursement, do you get reimbursement with minus 20% on that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Green Light Go is, right, 80% reimbursed.
But we could delay this until green light go, wrap it into green light go.
That I don't know, we did not ask Chris Lincoln. This was what I was asked to do, and Derek was asked to do, is get the proposal
I know.
to remove it. It was not tied to Green Light Go.
I
To
don't see why
follow
you
the next
couldn't
steps,
tie
that
that
was
in,
Green Light Go.
you could tie that into engineering for the green
There's
light go.
only a certain amount.
What I'm hearing is council maybe doesn't wanna spend $7,500 down to get rid of the light.
And-
So if we could wrap that into green light go, why don't we put that in there? Or we don't do it and we upgrade that light and then still be at the same point 10 more years down the road when technology changes again. Once again, this all happened because the flashing guys came and threw it on flashing and somehow it didn't get turned on correctly.
Well, I'll say this actually all starts because we were the very first year in Green Light Go grant, and we have.
That technology is,
So we had technology that was guinea pig, so it's all phased out already. Within 5 years, they got rid of it because it was glitchy.
Well, I
So is
think,
it-
I think the conversation with Chris Lincoln is twofold,
So,
right?
let's just, can we table, get back to us.
I'm not worth risking public safety to save a buck.
Why are we saving a buck? What's the public
You're
safety
saying-
down there?
You're saying it only costs 70, whatever it is, 70.
From $7,500 to
To
get,
get the study and then take the light out.
right.
No, it's to get the study
Alright.
to know for sure
if you're allowed to.
if you're allowed to take it out. If, what,
So if we
what
spend
Bob
that
is
money and
sending,
don't take it out, can we go the other direction?
that's what he's
and go
saying.
the green light
He's
go
wrapping,
to get
he
it?
wants the study, and then the decision on the study, if it's removed, Green Light Go will remove it. if the study says you can't remove it, green light go with upgrade.
Would the study tell us
That
that,
would be the whole grant, that's what I'm hearing, right?
will the study tell us that it's a disadvantage to keep the light as it is on timer?
Well, we're not gonna get that far, eventually it has to get repaired.
Well, I'm assuming it's never gonna get repaired because the part's been backordered so long and its technology's already gone by. It's like saying, go find a beta VCR. It's not gonna happen.
Honestly, I think they,
Well, Floppy just got his back on.
So I'm wondering if the study then shows you this is more of a problem now being on timer because it's not really reacting to traffic or anything else.
so I think they would find first we're technically operating outside of our permit.
Yeah.
But then they'd also find that the equipment in there is outdated and obsolete, so then the suggestion would be to
Remove
repair
it.
or upgrade.
Right.
Or if they do the study and they find that, that it all comes down to traffic counts, cause that's, and then traffic accidents at the intersection, those are two big things on what warrants a traffic light.
I didn't think there were any accidents, I thought.
There were 3, none to do with the traffic light.
Just wiped out all the front porches.
Just a, traffic driving, going by, falling asleep.
And all the telephone poles.
So I think if Derek contacts Chris Lincoln, which they seem to have good communication, Chris Lincoln's great.
So we wanna know,
Ask
A,
him that, right.
right, could this study go into green light go in November or whenever?
Yes, November this year.
B, if we do get the study, does that, and it says no lights needed, does that prevent us from going into green light go, saying we wanna upgrade it? Do we have to remove it if we know it's not needed? That's the real question,
No.
Something else.
right? Cause then we're still at the same point here down the road, we just didn't spend the money right now.
If it takes 6 months to get a study done,
Green light goes 3 years.
okay.
But we wanna be on the front end of that money so we can get all that new
Okay.
fangled,
The new stuff.
technology, but then
Obsolete.
they'll be obsolete again.
The obsolete technology.
I want to address what Steve just said and the point that you made, Greg. We do the study, you don't need to likely take it out. Okay, so you've got a free run on the avenue. You have a stop sign at L.
Yes.
Are we gonna be creating an issue by doing that? People chancing it, rather than being governed by a traffic light. I mean,
That's what the
I
study's gonna
I'll say
do.
from a,
If I were to say where we would need a traffic light, it's at Old Turnpike Road in St. Lawrence Avenue. Far more of a dangerous
Oh, yeah.
intersection.
that's why I
And we don't have a
road.
light there,
Yeah.
and we don't have many accidents.
People
there.
jumping out.
Put it in
from
green light
the-
go, we wanna study it for that intersection.
I mean, but that's not.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's not what I'm asking for.
If the intersections are similar, Lauren, then why would we go out of the way to get rid of one where we would all
No,
agree?
I'm not saying they're similar, I'm saying Old Turnpike
Yeah, I
Road
agree.
is
Yeah.
much more of a
Yes.
heavy traffic
They
intersection.
come up that hill.
If I had my ground quarter, number one, get the timer fixed and have it back the way it's supposed to be. You know, that's number one. Number two, right. would
Number
be-
2, see number 1.
is, you know, I don't think we really need the light there. I think if you wanna come there and make a left-hand turn, the vast majority of the time, you can make a safe left-hand turn in less time than what you will wait to make
I
a turn.
think people already go alternate routes
I
when
think that's
it's
what you
ru- when it's rush.
I see them every morning. You'll see the people at the next intersections making the left. So
Yeah, sure,
maybe
maybe
more
going
people
that
might
way.
get there. I think it's less about how safe it is to make the left even at a high traffic time in the morning to commute, and more about the distance between traffic control devices. When you get into town, I think a lot of people who aren't aware of speed are to say, oh, I'm in town. Suddenly you're closed in by buildings, you've got this feeling to
You
slow down.
feel, yeah, you feel.
But when you get that span between, like, it's just open.
What's that, 3/4 of a mile?
Like, here we go.
From Bingham
And,
to
and that's the
Shelburne?
feeling you get. You're already coming down through Schwartzwald where it's posted high. It's
That's-
45 coming through
that's
there.
all-
and-
that's all-
Right,
Is that the price down
I
there?
guess that's
If
the
you hit that way green, you're gonna
Yes, it
maintain
goes
that.
all the
Now
time.
you
All the
just,
time.
Yeah.
you're rolling into the
I-
middle of the
I-
road.
I-
Over or something.
I think the
She's
best
watching
alternative
the
is
grandkids or-
get a timer that works in there. Why they can't put a sensor in there is.
Well, the issue, to get it fixed,
Question, yeah.
the cost, you might as well throw it in the there, but the real issue is, why are you having a traffic device that's no longer meets the criteria to have it there? That's what I'm asking. So I would rather have the study and then either keep it in our hip pocket and still go, green light go, tell them to upgrade the whole thing. And then make decisions later. Because we still have an operating permit for that thing, so we should be able to go get the grant money.
Do the study.
Well, if you guys are that adverse, just we'll throw it in the green light study too.
Do the
Well, that's
study.
what he's asking.
Well, that's what he's gonna ask.
Yeah.
right?
I would like to see,
Let's get that answer.
after all the conversation, I would like to see the outcome of that study.
If it's all rolled in,
Yeah.
yeah, if it's all rolled into a grant.
I was gonna say now, my other question to that is, I'm asking if the study finds the light has to go, are we obligated to take it out?
Correct, that's the other
That
question
is
from
the,
the.
will the study find the light?
Can they force you to take it
Which
out?
is different from the light.
Can they force you to take it out?
That's what he's gonna ask.
Oh.
It's different.
Is there a must or a can,
Yeah,
is the
first-
question.
Find out.
First off.
I'll say which one applies.
How do you feel about traffic circle, Bob?
What about that?
Roundabout.
I'm gonna take a picture every time I have to stop there, and there's nobody on the helm, and I'm gonna send it to you, Greg.
I want you to do that. Definitely do
All
that.
right, so we agree, Derek's gonna check two things
So-
with Chris Lincoln.
Yeah, and you're gonna table the motion. Or
Right, yeah, we're not gonna do anything until we get that thing.
They're gonna check if the study part of the good grant.
Yes.
And if the study says the signal can be removed, is the borough obligated to remove it?
Yes.
And we still wanna go on to upgrade that signal irregardless
But
in our green light go agreement.
that's based off of if we have.
Because we have an
to or
existing
don't have
permit.
If we have to or don't have to.
Right.
to. Yes.
Yeah.
As well as the McDonald's.
Cause then we can upgrade it and
Well,
then take it
we're-
out and we'll have spare parts.
We're gonna upgrade all the systems.
You're doing it.
It's punchy after 9 o'clock.
Okay. Before 9.
Okay.
Time
We're moving
for
forward.
a council meeting.
What else?
Okay, we're done, we try to wrap.
All right, is there a motion on the floor?
No.
We're gonna need one.
There was no motion.
We're just on the engineer's report.
We need answers.
Let's say, we jumped into new business like 3 times now.
The last thing that I have, it's right here on my report, that's it, because we just did the traffic and TPD. The grant, the multimodal grant, Derek, that's the one for the sidewalk, I thought you were gonna put together like an exhibit, and then I was gonna back into it.
Say, I did that last Thursday, I walked Prospect, I have taken on that. Measure everything off, I also included the section between Prospect and Goodwill where that sidewalk does not continue.
Yes,
I included that in that walk off.
yes,
So I can get you all those numbers, I can give you like a sealed
yes, please.
exhibit.
And then does the council want Derek to do the meat of the grant applications, or do you want us to share it, or what do you wanna do? I know we need to do the certified cost estimate, because it has to be signed and sealed by the PE. But the grant applications aren't too bad, that's up to you folks, and if Derek has the time. It's due July 31st, but the big thing is the support letters have to go out like before the end of the month.
I heard Amanda's isn't at the visit, right? I married her.
You wanna do it or you wanna punt to her? That's all you have to answer.
We're together.
We can work it out.
We're together.
Together.
Teamwork mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
More
I
eyes.
can give samples of different support letters and things to you, so that you can pen them.
I'll write one.
No, they're basically, it's just a basic description, and then you're
I
asking.
need it written
how
after
it's-
9 p.m. at night.
All right, so how about I work with Derek and Amanda, and we'll do a joint effort on doing this multimodal, I'll call it the sidewalk connection.
We need a motion?
Yeah, it's a
Motion.
new business, you should do it now.
Motion? Bob?
I'll make a motion that Derek, Amanda, and Pamela work together for multimodal, excuse me.
No motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Let's move second to have a joint effort to fill out the grant, multimodal grant, boat grant. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes.
That's it.
So we'll jump down, we have no old business, we'll go to new business, discuss accepting credit card payments and online credit card and check payments.
Can we back up to old business for 5 seconds?
Sure.
2934 Holy Turnpike Road.
Oh.
I'm gonna bring that up every month until we start doing something. That's a travesty of this local government to allow that to continue.
This is the building that has a lot of stuff parked on the front porch,
And in the house, look at it stacked up in the windows.
We have no jurisdiction in the house,
With all this stuff.
you know?
I could not be their neighbor.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know
telling
if
you.
you can
Oh,
find
no.
them for being sloppy.
So noted.
They have to eat.
Please include that in the minutes. New business, discuss accepting credit card payments and online credit card check payments. Back at the end of the year, one property owner comes in and pays cash for his taxes every year. This year he came in, tax collector was not here because he was sick, and we accepted the cash. However, when it got to the bank, it was $200 short. So we were assured that he paid the right amount, we were assured we gave the right amount, so it was between us and the bank. And about 3 days later, the bank came back and said, no, we were wrong, you guys didn't submit the right money. So I threw my typical fit and said, we should be handling cash anyway, nor should we be handling cash for the tax collector, even though I understand that's what was going on. But in talking to Amanda though, a lot of people come in, contractors want to pay for permits, they want to pay with a credit card, they don't have cash, they don't have a check, they want to use Apple Pay or Google Pay or a company credit card. So I go, why don't we have a credit card issue? So Borough manager was able to go find this company called Nuvi. This is because it's no cost to the borough. There's a credit card service fee of 4.25% and $1.99, but we would add that to anybody using a credit card. They're gonna just pay the fee.
$1.99 is for ACH.
Yeah.
But they,
4.25% charge,
for,
charge back to them.
When they say they include 2 credit card machines, that's typically a swipe or an insert. I mean, it's not the old style, you know, that emboss it and like that. So, I'm familiar with Square. It's a little device that you just tap your card and you're gone. So when they say credit card machines, that sounds like it, you know,
They'll be tapped.
yeah, you can roll on it.
this company works with over 3,000 municipalities, and they're in all 50 states and international.
If you ever read through audits and general actions on municipalities, almost the number one thing is petty cash. Petty cash is the number one thing people get called on, get in trouble.
We won't.
And so I want to get rid of cash, you know, so is council on board with that? You want to try it out? Once again, we're not paying the fees.
No cost to the borough, right?
Whoever wants to use it, that's how most of these are paid.
And you have to terminate it on 30 days notice.
Yeah.
The biggest plus is that they do all of the compliance work. We would have none of the compliance work, because
So
none of
you wouldn't
the.
have to fill out like PCI.
No PCI.
No, you have PCI compliance, it's all kind of stuff with your internet connection and everything else, you know, it's a nightmare.
They keep everything.
Since you collect no data.
Right.
Plus, they'll put it on like our website, so if someone wants to fill a permit or whatever out, you can do it on the website, it goes to them, and you can fill it out,
They
you
click
can do it,
away.
click on the link, goes on the website, automatically goes, you can do everything online, you don't even have to come in here to do it.
Do we have to buy any of the equipment, rent any of the equipment?
Nope, it's
No,
all
it's all
it's
part
all free, no charge to us.
We would have to give them an invoice number or a permit number, something that they.
References the payment.
Reference to make the payment,
Sure.
and that's it. And they will add any additional fees at any time that we want.
And we'll tailor the site to whatever we want, so you can
Yeah.
do like a permit, a donation, if you wanna do like playground donations or Easter egg things or whatever you
Yeah.
want that someone can go and do for the borough, they'll add all of that on for free.
Does this require a motion?
Yes,
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
So,
resolution 916-2025, authorizing enter agreement with the payment group, also called Nuvi. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Number 2 motion, approve the renewal service electric franchise agreement, expires March 15, 2028. Typically, 20 years ago, this was a big deal because municipalities were able
There's no
to
motion yet.
um,
Is there?
add a fee on, and it was a way you could get other revenue in the borough. We never did that. Last time this came up, we asked all kinds of questions because cables are going downhill, and it's all the premium services.
Okay.
So, and now you'll see Comcast, they won't even bring in TV anymore. Everything comes over internet. In fact, my Service Electric now,
That's
I don't
not
have a
the
cable
actual-
coming in for TV, it
That's
comes
not-
over internet
Hold on.
on the Nuvi. So, this is almost like,
Right, This isn't the agreement. What
No.
this is
We're not in the agreement.
that Service Electric requests the borough commence renewal proceedings to franchise.
Oh.
That means an agreement to negotiate the franchise agreement.
Our agreement right now is 0 with them. No fee.
No, we have a franchise fee with Service Electric that's in place. This is for renewal.
This is for renewal. This is agreeing to begin negotiations for
Okay.
renewal.
So what this is requires to do.
All it does is,
Says the motion is to approve the renewal of the Service Electric.
It's
That's
to-
incorrect.
It was
Right, it is a
misunderstanding.
motion to agree to negotiate, renewal.
Is there a motion to go in and start negotiating the renewal of the Service Electric franchise agreement?
Yes.
Yeah.
Motion second? Motion moved second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. We discussed UGI ad nauseum. Surplus furniture in the conference room A to prepare for room for residents during voting.
I'm
Well-
just sticking outside.
Okay, yes, so we have extra, file cabinets, a couple desks and stuff like that, it's just piled over there right now. But that'll be hindrance to the food sales, so we'll hide it and then decide whether we're gonna scrap it or move it somewhere
Can you
else.
put it for sales?
It's probably not worth it when we hit stuff on municipal, you're not gonna really get anything out of it. It'd almost be better to put it outside, take for free during voting day, and I bet it would all disappear. If that's what council wants, we'll do that.
Maybe they'll pay a couple bucks for it.
They're gonna have to use a credit card, no cash.
Buy a sandwich right there.
I don't think you can just put it out your, I think you have to try to.
It's literally like a frank filing cabinets, there's like old halves of desks, some like the filing pieces that go under desks.
We could vote that it is surplus equipment, it has no value, and then we could give it to the church, or give it to anybody we want, whatever you guys want to do. If you wanna just move it out of the way, we'll do that, and maybe come up with something more innovative.
We could hold on
Excellent.
for the bonfire for the 100th anniversary.
Well, then maybe we could roast the sandwiches.
It's gonna get really, really hot for that stuff to
Yeah,
melt.
it was covered.
So, we wanna just table surplus equipment. So we talked about SDE, we're gonna ask more questions. Oh, the borough staff developed plans for the multimodal grant, we talked about that. TPD, we talked about that. So there's no more motions, or we wanna, I have a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Motion been moved, seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed. Thanks for all much of your time and effort.
Was that the longest
We took a lot of oxygen tonight, didn't we?
No.
Sure wasted a lot.
Really?
Huh?
One when we negotiated with the fire
Oh.
department.
We had the air conditioning turned down.
I heard. So the Bob has a square next to his tomato.
Take it 5, I don't need it.
I'm gonna make you can do it for your guys. Good, good.
I've got a generous budget for 6, I'm good. I do.
I'm trying to get a deed for
No, it says still stop screaming. Yeah, but-
Derek.
Derek, set off.
Oh.
Good talking.
I was gonna bring my